Yo, what's going on, guys? Try back again here, bringing another video. This one's going to be a video answer response to username Static71. He asked me pretty much in my last video how I feel about pound for pound ranking, what I think about pound for pound ranking, and what it actually means, and if anything. Now, here's the problem with pound for pound: is that everybody does not have a good overall understanding, or at least they don't. Their understandings don't coincide with each other about what pound for pound actually means. What it means to one guy is different from what it means to another guy, and a lot of guys, even professionals, okay, even professional MMA fighters, don't really understand what pound for pound means. I'm going to bring up an interview from Chael Sonnen. You can look this up on YouTube. I forget exactly which interview it was with him, but basically he said this is what somebody asked him about pound for pound and Anderson Silva, this kind of stuff, and Chael said something on the lines of this. You see, what you have to understand about pound for pound is it's about which fighter has the most skills. It's about which fighter has the best skills in their division, and that's why a guy like Anderson Silva gets high on pound for pound and a guy like Brock Lesnar never does. But Brock Lesnar is the most effective fighter. He starts going on stuff like this. And that has nothing to do with pound for pound at all. It has absolutely no, it's not even close to what that has to do with pound for pound. Not even close. That's not what it means. That it has nothing to do with your skill set or who has the most skills. Okay, it has to do with who is the best for their weight. Now here I'll give you an actual definition from Wikipedia. It is used in combat sports such as boxing or mixed martial arts to describe a fighter's value in relation to fighters of different weight classes. As these fighters do not compare directly, judging the best fighter pound for pound is subjective, and ratings vary because we can't actually see, what it would be like. They may be based on a range of criteria, including quality of opposition, factors such as how exciting the fighter is or how famous they are, also can, influence people to think about it. Okay, so that's the Wikipedia definition. I know Wikipedia is not official. Okay, I did go to university and graduate. I know that I'm not supposed to cite it. This isn't a fucking university, so I don't give a shit. Anyway, the fact of the matter is this, is that, that definition is useful because that is really, in essence, what pound for pound means. To go through it a little bit more, pound for pound is how good a fighter is at their weight class in relation to other fighters at their weight class, but also the meaning that is not actually, directly stated there is in relation to fighters of different weight classes. How good are they? So how good is Anderson Silva versus someone like Jon Jones? If Anderson Silva, pound for pound, if Jon Jones was able to make 185 and cut down, or Anderson Silva was able to make 205, which of them would be better pound for pound? Now here's where the concept doesn't really make sense, is because you have weight classes with guys who weigh 280 pounds, i.e. Alistair Overeem, Bigfoot Silva, Brock Lesnar, and then you got guys who weigh 135 pounds, okay? So pound for pound. The fact of the matter is, Brock Lesnar and Alistair Overeem are never going to weigh 170 pounds, 135 pounds. So it doesn't really make sense. If they fought open weight, which means either guy came in at whatever weight they wanted to, 9 times out of 10, the guy who weighs 270 pounds is going to crush the guy who weighs 135 pounds. It's pretty simple. They put their weight on him, they take him down, and they pound him into oblivion. It's as simple as that. Just because weight is a big advantage. If a guy has a lot of muscle weight, now not all weight, muscle weight is a big advantage because that's strength. A guy who weighs 280 pounds like Brock Lesnar is going to be bench pressing, probably 400 pounds. You know what I mean? Like me personally, I weigh 200 pounds. I can bench 300. These guys who weigh, 250, 260, 270, pro athletes, these guys are benching over 400 pounds. You know what I mean? Alistair Overeem probably goes on a free weight bench, puts on 400 pounds, and can do it maybe more than once. You know what I mean? Like, that's insane, dude. Think about how much strength that is. You're going to tell me a guy that weighs 135 pounds is going to be able to stop him from simply getting pushed back? If a big guy, like look at sumo, all sumo wrestlers do is push guys. It's a simple bench press basically, with their upper body and then with their legs too, and their, the rest of their body gets into it too. But what I'm saying is that, muscle weight is a huge advantage, okay? And that's where pound for pound gets, kind of where it doesn't really make much sense, because Alistair Overeem at 260 is a much different fighter than Alistair Overeem at 205. Because of that muscle weight, he's able to fight with a different fighting style. He's able to, shrug guys off like Brock Lesnar without much trouble, because he can fit that much muscle on his frame. His frame for 205, he's so tall, he can't fit that much muscle on his frame and still make the weight. Okay, so here's where the concept of pound for pound kind of gets torn apart, is because a guy at a different weight is not the same guy. You know what I mean? Alistair Overeem at 205 and Ubereem at 270 is not the same fighter. Not even close to the same fighter. When Brock Lesnar comes up and Ubereem basically goes, hops around on one leg a bit and pushes off, and then comes up and does this, grabs him and knees him. If he was at 205 and Brock Lesnar was at 205, Brock Lesnar's, let's say they were able to make that weight, that's a different matchup. It's a different fight. Could he still shrug him off? Yeah, but the thing is when you put on that much muscle in those areas, you physically, the physiology of your body is different. It's completely different. So that's where the concept sort of falls apart and doesn't make sense. So that's the thing. Does it mean that if guys at open weight, pound for pound, if a guy at 145 fought a guy at 230, and the guy, for example, should you rank the guy at 230 above the guy at 135 or whatever, just because obviously he's got a huge advantage because he's got like almost 100 pounds on the guy, or more than 100 pounds on the guy. Obviously the guy with more than 100 pounds of muscle is probably going to win 9 times out of 10. So does that mean that the guys at 135 belong on the pound for pound list? You know what I mean? That's where it gets a little bit confusing there. So here's what it's really supposed to mean. It's not really supposed to mean if it was open weight, okay? So it's not really supposed to mean that guys like Jose Aldo can never get on a pound-for-pound list because they won't be able to beat Junior Dos Santos, okay? That's not really what it means. It's not about open weight. It's sort of like how dominant is a fighter in their weight class, okay? So right now, for example, you got guys like Jon Jones. And last year, no one was able to touch Jon Jones barely at all. I think Machida landed one punch against Jones. That's it. Who else? Did Rampage land a punch? I don't think so. Did he get a takedown? No. Anybody? No. So Jon Jones is extremely dominant at his weight class, okay? Now, Anderson Silva is, but a guy like Chael Sonnen can almost beat him, okay? Is really close. So then that means that Anderson Silva is not pound for pound number 1 anymore, because Jon Jones is that much better than the other guys in his weight class. So now the meaning it takes on is basically, and this is the most general meaning you're going to get for pound, is in relation to other fighters in that weight class, how good is that guy? Not really in relation to fighters in other weight classes, because like I explained, you have, Jose Aldo, Junior Dos Santos. Is Jose Aldo ever going to beat Junior Dos Santos? No. Or at least, he's got like a maybe 5% chance. Can I even say that? I don't know, man. Like, you guys know what I'm talking about. Junior Dos Santos against Jose Aldo. Is that a fair match? I mean, come on. So it's not really about, how good this guy is. Who would win? Would Anderson Silva beat Jon Jones? Would Jose Aldo beat Junior Dos Santos? And because he can't beat Junior Dos Santos, does that take him off the pound for pound list? No, it doesn't. So essentially what it means in conclusion is just that. How good is a fighter for their weight class compared to the other guys at their weight class? That's what really matters. It's not really comparing, open weight, who would win, Vanderlei Silva or Cro Cop. No, that's not what it really is. That, because like I said, 135, 205, or 135, 270. Is it 135 are ever going to win? Not really. So, that's not what it means at all. It's not open weight. It's how good are they in relation to other guys in their weight class, not guys in different weight classes. And that's pretty much pound for pound. The thing is that everybody gets it confused and construed. So like I said before, the most dominant fighters, the fighters that are beating guys in their weight class the easiest, those are the guys that you got to look at pound for pound. You got to look at Junior Dos Santos. You got to look at definitely Jon Jones. Jose Aldo, Anderson Silva because he's undefeated, but Chael Sonnen has gotten so close. So the fact that Chael Sonnen is able to take Anderson Silva to the 4th round and wins 4 rounds, and then Anderson gets a triangle, that hurts Anderson Silva's pound-for-pound ranking. You see, because someone else is that close to beating him but can't do it. A guy like Jon Jones, who no one is even close to beating, that guy is at the top of the pound-for-pound list. And the more performances he puts on where he's destroying guys, the higher towards, or the closer to the top of the list he gets. Right now, I'd probably put him at number 1 because who else has been as dominant as Jon Jones lately? GSP's hurt, which automatically hurts his place in pound-for-pound ranking because he's got to heal, he's got to retrain, and then he's got to come back. So that hurts his position. Anderson Silva's been hurt, so that hurts his position in pound-for-pound too. So, maybe I'll go through and make a top 10 pound-for-pound list after this video. But the purpose of this video is to explain why the concept of pound-for-pound makes sense, but it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? In some ways it makes sense, in some ways it doesn't make sense. Really, instead of calling it pound-for-pound, because that's kind of misleading, you should call it most dominant. You know what I mean? Most dominant list, because that's really what it is. Who is most dominant in their division? Okay, not in open weight compared to each other. So I think that's my explanation for what I think about pound for pound. I think that's the best explanation you're probably going to get for what pound for pound actually means. It's interesting to me that guys like Chael Sonnen, like the interviewer asked him that, and he answers like that. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? That's not what it means. Like, that's not even close to what it means. The guy who has the most skills. That's not even close. It's about who's most dominant in their division. That's what it's about. So let me know what you guys think about the video, the concept of pound for pound. Let me know if you guys are interested to see my top 10 pound for pound list. That I may put that together. We'll see how it goes. And I think that's pretty much it. If you have any questions or anything you'd like me to talk about relating to pound for pound and its meaning and the confusion out there about pound for pound, please feel free to leave me a comment or do a video response if you like with your pound for pound list. That's pretty much it for this video, guys. That's all I really wanted to say. I hope that was thorough, informative, and interesting. Later, guys. Peace.